Hey, chefs, let's do it. Let's talk about the project. You excited? I'm excited. You nervous? I'm a little nervous too, but a good kind of nervous, the fun kind. Okay, so the overview for the project is in Module 2 course content, and you can and should absolutely look at it beyond our little quickie overview together. But before we have the library session, it's important to know kind of what you're going to be doing with all this stuff and why. So I will try to keep it brief, but sometimes hearing somebody talk about it is a little better than just reading through it yourself. So the overview. Okay, so being a chef, right? As Chef Dominique Crenn, the first female chef in America to attain 3 Michelin stars, what a baddie, once said, being a chef is about feeding people, which is a part of the story of all humanity. If you are a chef, you have an incredible responsibility in this world. So, with that in mind, right, you want to think about the long game here. You are going to play a crucial role in your local communities and the food system that sustains and nourishes them, not just physically, but economically, socially, culturally, and you are surrounded by instructors who I think would really back this up and would have a lot to say on the matter. In fact, I know they do because I've worked with them on some interesting projects in the past. We pal around, and so that's actually kind of where I got the inspiration for all this for y'all. Is from them. So it is vital you understand the problems facing the food system you will be at the center of so that you can use your position and your influence, which you will have, ethically and wisely to create sustainable solutions, not just within your kitchen, but beyond them. So we are going to be spending 11 weeks of this 15-week course working on this project. That's a long time, but that's what it's going to take to really do it. That's how problems get solved, spending a lot of time looking at them very closely, which you don't get a lot of in this world today. And that's part of why we're doing this. Not to feel overwhelmed by problems, but to tackle them the right way. So there are parameters for this project, for the topic that you choose. Okay, it is your choice. But the parameters are the following to be an acceptable topic. It has to be a real problem, like an actual verifiable problem. I know that sounds like such an obvious thing, but it's actually really not, especially when it comes to food. So, whatever it is, it has to impact a statistically significant number of people. It can't just be like you and the people you personally know. So you will have to find and cite credible sources showing that this problem is real and it is having negative effects. So an example of something that like people can't necessarily agree on whether it's a problem or not will be like food dyes. Okay. There are people who will go to their graves saying that it is red dye, whatever, that is causing all of these problems, psychiatric, all kinds of stuff. But and then there are people who are like, no, it's fine. It's totally fine. There's nothing, who's right in this? I don't know. But like whoever wins is really the one that has like the best, scientific medical research to back it up. So you just got to go into it with like a skeptic's mindset, knowing that just because you have heard it's a problem or believe it's a problem or think it's a problem, it might not actually be. We have to confront that. So that's hard to do. That is a really hard thing to ask of people, as I'm sure you know. Um, but we're all going to be like really, kind of honest and vulnerable in that way. And you also just have to expect that we're going to require you to bring receipts. And again, it needs to impact more than just you and the folks you know. That's not statistically significant. It is significant, just not statistically significant. Okay, local. So, how local is local? Now, the problem can be something that impacts people globally and or nationally, but you are focusing on the local impacts of the problem, okay? So for instance, oh goodness, private equity, right? If you don't know anything about private equity, oh gosh, I envy you. I've learned way too much about private equity lately, and it is a global and national issue, but there are like specific instances of where it is having local impacts here in upstate South Carolina. So something like that would be an appropriate topic versus like, you know, uh, just like focusing on the entire world because that's too big. We want to say a lot about a little, not a little about a lot. So the broadest you can possibly go is the state of South Carolina. You cannot focus your efforts outside of the state of South Carolina. But you could narrow it to the upstate region. You could narrow it to Greenville. You could narrow it to even a specific population within, so a specific age group, ethnic group, socioeconomic group, geographical region. Um, I mean, we all know this. Like, there's a lot of different Greenvilles. There are a lot of different groups of people who live here who experience things very differently. And anybody who says otherwise, just they don't know. They don't know any better. They think that their Greenville is the only Greenville, but we know that's not true. It must be food related in some way, so that's pretty broad too. But general categories could be related to how it's grown or produced or shipped, cost of food, access to food, laws related to food. I'm very interested in cottage food laws. If you don't know what those are, take a look. If you plan on having a food business at some point, you may want to look into cottage food laws. South Carolina has some super strict ones compared to other states in a way that, well, you can find out if you want to, and why that might impact you as a future culinary professional. Disordered eating, that's a tricky one. Proceed with caution on that. Environmental impacts of food production usage. We are not saints in upstate South Carolina in that regard. Nutrition, food, or culinary education. If you feel like that's an issue here, like we really need to be teaching kids how to cook as part of the school system here in Greenville County or whatever, go for it. Go nuts. Food related health issues, food safety issues, food business issues, labor issues, loss of local and ethnic food traditions. That's a big one too. Thank you, private equity. Anyway, I'll stop. I'll stop. All right. It must be specific. Like, what is she going on about? I don't know. Look into it if you dare. It must be specific. The examples above are broad categories, so it would need to be one specific problem within it. So again, like environmental impacts, there are a bunch in this state, but you would only want to focus on one of them. You couldn't possibly focus on all of them. It's like farm waste runoff, really big issue in upstate South Carolina. If you've ever gone down to the Reedy River in downtown, like there are signs up everywhere saying, "Do not swim in this water. Do not get any of this water in your eyes or mouth." You want to know why? Well, if you want to know why, look into it. It's pretty gross. There's lots of rivers and creeks and streams with that same issue, so look into it if you dare. Another example would be food business. So locally owned restaurants in the Greenville metro area being priced out, replaced by large corporate owned, private equity owned chain restaurants. If you want to turn that rock over, but this is going to impact you if you plan to have a food business at some point. So now might be the time to look into it. And this I think is probably the most important at all, like of all the parameters. Please resist the urge to pick a topic just because it seems easy to research and write about. Like you are going to get so bored with that. Easy is boring, right? In so many arenas of life, easy is boring. It'll feel good at first, and then it'll stop feeling good after like a couple of weeks of that, because you're going to spend 11 weeks on it. It needs to be something you are like you really want to go down a rabbit hole on. So just because it's like, oh, food deserts, that's easy. Like, unless that's something you actually feel super passionate about and you want to spend 11 weeks looking into it from every possible angle, I wouldn't pick it. Also, if everyone does the same topic, it's going to get real boring. So, yeah, like Rumi said, let yourself be drawn by the strange. That's a poet, Sufi poet. Let yourself be drawn by the strange pull. Oh no, of what you love. Let yourself be drawn by the strange pull of what you really love. It will not lead you astray. Okay. I say this to my husband all the time because he's afraid of things that are too hard. I have to be like, no, do what you like, go with what you love and what's hard and challenging. I did, and we're married because of it. So, anyway, we have fun. All right. It is healthy and expected that you might adjust your focus and your approach over the course of the project. That's totally cool. I would not recommend doing musical topics though and switching out. If you do want to switch your topic, talk to me first because it may just be don't hit the eject button as soon as you hit like even the slightest amount of roadblock. Okay. That's not how we do things in college, and it shouldn't be how you do things in life, right? We may just need to pivot our approach a little bit, try a different angle on it. And you know what? I love helping people come up with ideas and like different tactics and strategies and approaches to things. Like I live for that. It's one of my greatest strengths as a supervisor where I work with a lot of different people and they're all doing different things. And I love talking to them about what they're struggling with and what their challenges are and like helping them come up with ideas for how to get over it and watching them succeed. Like it gives me such a charge. Let me help you too. So reach out to me before you do that. Where there's a will, there's a way. So what are you going to do? Okay, 11 weeks. It's a lot. So the first assignment is going to be the topic brainstorming and preliminary research discussion board. All the stuff's already in the course. You can go ahead and look at it anytime you want to, but this is boop, boop, boop. Yeah, module 2. Same module as all this. So you're going to use Copilot. We use Copilot as our AI generative AI tool because we pay for it and because it's private. So if you use something outside of that, you are actually teaching language learning models and they are making money off of you. And we don't want that because that basically turns you into an unpaid workforce for those people. And heck knows we have enough of that going on already. We don't need any more of that. So for a bunch of reasons, we use Copilot. So this is something that you're going to learn from Rachel Peterson, our librarian. She knows how to use it a lot better than I do. I'm more of a Gemini AI, Google Gemini one. But like, I want to find out too. I'll be there. So yeah, we're gonna use that, and then you're gonna use that to investigate some possible topics, potential sources of information for the assignments below. You're gonna write a paragraph where you're just gonna define and explain the problem. That's it, and you're gonna use research to do that. One source, and you're gonna learn how to cite and do all that stuff. Just one paragraph, one source. We're gonna get that like super figured out before we go any further. You're going to do an interview, an actual personal interview with someone from the community. It could be someone, one of the chefs instructors, could be someone you know personally, could be somebody from like an organization who is working to try to tackle the issue that you're looking at. You've got time to start looking for someone. So like just always be thinking about potential interview candidates moving forward as you're working. And because this is actually going to be a source for your cause and effect essay. So the two essays you're going to do for this course, a problem, cause, and effect essay, right? Where you're going to identify the main causes of the problem that you're talking about and the effects that it's having on the local community using your interview and online research for this part. You're going to propose a solution to this problem. This is this is kind of a controversial thing to do because if we could all agree on the best way to solve problems, I mean, we can't always agree on this stuff either, but if we could all agree on the best way to solve problems, then a lot more problems would be solved, right? So you're going to make your pitch after doing all this. You're like, okay, I've looked at all the possibilities. This is the best one. This would be the best way for us here now with the resources we have and the people who live here. This would be the best way to fix this issue. And you're going to make your pitch to us in the project presentation, which you're going to do a PowerPoint. You're going to make a video. You're going to make your case to the class. It's going to be amazing. And then at the end of the course, you're going to do, as your final exam, you're just going to do a reflection on all this stuff and kind of like how you did it, how it went, things you learned, feelings you had, how you plan to use any of this in your life moving on, forward from this class. So that's it. Okay, quickie turned not quickie, very quickie. That's me. I'm an over explainer. But if you have any questions or you want to start talking about possible topics, I love talking about that stuff. So don't be a stranger. If you have a middle of the night brain wave and you're like, oh wait a minute, I know exactly what I want to do, feel free to kick it my way and we can talk about it. Like I said, I love doing that stuff. So I really look forward to seeing what you guys do with this project. And I will see you at the library session. You can start seeing the awesome LibGuide that Rachel Peterson put together for you guys to help you with this project. It's all happening. All right, take care. Bye bye.